3 days. Check it out. It's like half full. So 3 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
It's dripping.
Wow, look at that.
Turn off the land.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's a food grade bucket we got from a local restaurant. Clean towel. And that's just bucket number 1. So that's 2 gallons already.
I would say so. It's crazy.
Test run cooking here on the wood stove. Get a sense of how fast this might boil. Boiling on the stove. Go ahead, show it how we got this cool feature. Yes, nice. They knew what they were doing when they designed it. Day 2 of boiling sap. Some of our wood got wet because we've had so much rain, so we've actually put it inside the wood cookstove oven to get that dampness off, and that's working out great. I've got the stove cranking, got this large pot going. We did a roasting pan yesterday. We're going to try this pot today. We had to bring the log splitter down because when you want a hot fire, you need small pieces to burn. This is our starting point, and it's around 7:30 in the morning. We're just going to get this going. Fire's going. The winter tree is coming down. Come on out, Belle. We really needed the room.
Oh yeah.
It's getting a little tough to work in here with the bathroom project going on, and this is the best way to do it.
It is. I'm surprised at how straight that trunk is. It's
That tree, I mean, it did beautiful.
Tree. Yeah.
Just a little tour behind the scenes. The wood got wet with all the rain, if it didn't have a curtain, and the wind. So we have it exposed to the sun today. That's our sap collecting bucket that Belle is checking out. Here is the splitter with the small pieces.
Wow, it's really nice in the sun.
It's very nice. Now we've got the patio chairs set up, camping chairs. Whoa! That was close. Did you see that? Boy, whiskey didn't check my chair. Let's see. Is this better? Oh, okay, well. You missed it. I almost flipped.
You did?
I sat in the chair and the whole thing sunk in the back.
Well, I'm glad you didn't because your head would have gone
Right in that.
right into that. Smells so much more smoke these fires for those days.
Smoke's always going to wherever you're sitting. Oh my God.
New fan. Lord. That look about close.
Yeah.
Good height.
Okay.
Okay. I might want to keep these on.
The sap is already steaming. She loves being out. Here's my refreshed drink. It is maple liqueur, not maple bourbon, with fresh snow.
You want me to get the bottle to show the label?
Sure. Isn't it made in Vermont? Or New Hampshire?
Yeah, maple syrup.
Let's see if it's clear. Okay. Alright, that looks good. And I was thinking of putting the maple syrup in these bottles if we ever have enough.
Yeah.
Because I've saved some of those.
This?
Oh yeah. This chair's safe.
Wow. Look at that.
Yeah, that's hot.
Holy smokes,
Oh.
look at that.
Whoa, here it goes. Going over. You might have to... What are we going to do?
Raise it up.
Wow. No, it's okay. It's not going over. I don't think it's at the stage to go over. I think that happens later. Wow.
Candy thing. Not very much. Which is surprising how much, considering how much it's boiling. But
Living the van life, Chad. Look, we can do this right in our backyard, Chad. We don't have to.
wouldn't have to spend
We don't have to drive our van
200 grand on
on the van.
a off-road Mercedes.
Yeah, you fall backwards too.
Yeah, no, it's good. Does the burn pine needles enhance the liquor? What?
Wherever people are sitting is the direction it's going. Okay, we've boiled it down more than half. So we're going to pour it into a saucepan and finish it off inside.
It's
Oh, that's
not as
perfect.
Not as bad as I thought.
Good, and then I'll just finish that off on the stove.
We can put snow in this to clean it out, right?
Or just leave it. Starting to get a golden color. But it needs to be filtered because with the doing it out here with all the fire pieces, the ash and whatnot. All right, let's see what's going on the stove. This pot was filled to the rivets, and then it cooked down and we added more and filled it back up to the rivets, to the handle rivets. So that's simmering nice. The stove temp, you can see here, This pot was full up to about here when I started this morning. This is what was on the fire outside, and I just left it in a separate pot. That will get filtered out, but that's got a ways to go. I'm going to bring it over to the stove when I'm back in there. This has a nice rolling simmer going, and I have this open right to the fire. Oh, it's really hot. This is sourdough pizza dough. That looks really nice. We've been trying not to buy every gadget recommended as if we're pros. We're doing this as backyard novices. We're using scrap wood from a lilac tree cut down, considered camp wood. We're burning the Christmas tree branches. Using a roasting pan that I already had. I know the stainless would be ideal, but we had this one and it has been well used. This is when it goes quick. I'm waiting for enough to fill the saucepan to bring it in.
I think there's too much.
I don't know.
Looks right. That's the last.
I know, look. I'd rather not have it to the top. Maple syrup updates and learning experiences. The first batch, we slightly overcooked it, overboiled it to over 219 degrees. And it had a lot of the sugar sand in it. There's actually some hard sugar here. There was some clear syrup on top, which we enjoyed that. But this was what was left at the bottom of the jar. It's crystallized. So the learning experience is that's how you make maple candy. It still tastes delicious, very sweet, and it's maple sugar. This was our most successful here. We've got about 4 cups of nice, delicious maple syrup. This was after 2 days of boiling 2 different batches. So that's a success. We love that. We cooked it outside over an open fire in a pan, and it got some debris for we were burning Christmas tree and whatnot, so it got kind of a charcoal color. And then when I filtered it, I had 1/4 of a cup after probably 2 gallons, and this is what was left after I filtered it. I tried to filter it with paper, that absorbed too much. Then I filtered it with cloth, and that absorbed a lot of the sugar, and then this is what was left. And then once it cooled, it basically became a solid sugar, which, as oddly as it looks, it still tastes pretty cool. Tastes smoky. So the things we're learning as we go. This was yesterday's batch, and we did this inside on the stove, as this one was too. The flavor is just your straightforward maple syrup, but this one, as odd as it looks, having that residue from the open flame and debris, it's pretty interesting. I thought it was going to be weird, but as a candy, that's something to explore. So updates after, let's say, 3 days of playing around and learning lots of stuff. Okay, the maple syrup thing is turning into a full-time job, which is fine. And we keep playing around with where we're boiling, and when we're doing it outside, we found that cooking it over the solo stove is the most effective. It uses less wood, it creates more heat, and it's concentrated. So, Whiskey and Mr. Coffee went up and got some pine, cut the pine down, and are now splitting it out here on the deck, and we're gonna fire up the solo stove and boil some more sap. It's a beautiful winter day. All right, how goes it? So this is a pine, huh?
Yeah, standing dead.
That's way hotter fire. Just being in that, after doing that yesterday,
Yeah.
that, yeah, not so much.
How do you get it on?
You got welding gloves.
Okay, so you're trying it with the lid on.
Yeah. Welding gloves and speed. Speed and precision. Upstream of the smoke.
Mr. Coffee is back. Do I need to make coffee? Now that we call you
Yeah, I
Mr.
think so,
Coffee.
yeah.
Oh, you'll have coffee now? With some of that maple stuff in it.
Yeah. I maple candy.
Yeah. Another beautiful day.
Okay, so this is closer to the fire because
Yeah.
I lifted it up on bricks. So it's 2 inches
Oh,
higher than it was
okay.
before. Should I lift it up?
I don't think so. Not with the lid on it.
Try it. Yeah.
I'm curious with the lid on it. And you have the handle, so that's good. All right, Belle's going to town on that
That's for the
that
lid.
log.
That's for the lid.
Yeah. Where'd you find that?
It's a
it came
thing.
with it.
Oh, no kidding. Ah.
So you're supposed to be able to do this without burning yourself,
Yeah.
one way or the other.
Yeah.
There you go.
I think probably just like that.
Don't eat the wood.
Don't eat the people either.
She's not a people eater. She's going, look, she's going back to it. I'm in here boiling on the stove. Guys are out there cranking up the solo stove and heating there. We are just a boiling machine here making. I switched to this pot because it's not aluminum. I don't know if aluminum is good. I mean, you hear conflicting things. But this has it's on the open flame. I like that it's black. This is that enameled steel. And it fits over that burner better. So the guy started the fire and then went back to work. So I gotta go out and check it. So once the fire is going, I just keep an eye on it from the kitchen as I'm doing my chores and such. So, and I'm also tending to pots on the wood cook stove. But I go out just to check the status of the boil and then immediately lose control of the lid and drop it into the fire. Fortunately, I managed not to spill the contents of the kettle, amazingly. I set the lid aside because it's so hot, trying to get it on the snow. It's not totally filthy. So that is set aside there. And then Mr. Coffee is going to come out and see what's going on and assist. Then he will collect some sap so we can continue. What I haven't mentioned in the prior clips is as the pan or the pots are simmering over the course of the day, we keep pouring in more sap for as long as we're going to tend to the boiling. And even overnight with the wood cook stove, we have just put the lids on the pot and the stove dies down. And then in the morning we get it going back up, add more sap, and then it will continue to simmer during the day. So inside we're doing more of a simmer throughout the day as the sap condenses and the water evaporates. But out here we're doing it hotter and faster, so we have to keep filling the kettle and the pan. Now here is Mr. Coffee. He got some more sap and we're filling this kettle, and we're going to continue to do this into the evening. And Whiskey and I will just sit outside and enjoy the evening. It's been really nice and warm with sunshine, and that's been a nice change. So we're going to, Mr. Coffee's putting the lid back on, and then we're going to go back inside. Mr. Coffee's here working on some projects at the house. He's going to go back to work on those, and then I will continue to keep an eye on the outside fire and what's going on in the wood cook stove. So this maple syrup process has been a little bit time consuming, but it's been fun. It's going pretty good. We understand it's not ideal to boil inside, but we have the stove going. So we're gonna give it a try. And I rigged up the thermometer, the digital read over here with an alert at 216 degrees so we don't miss anything. Like we've said, it's trial and error and learning as we go. So I'm waiting for the temperature to get up to 216. I brought it over to the stove. It has boiled down. I am using I'm using the metal rod. Using this metal rod, and I have the digital thermometer hanging in there. And then I'm ready for a pre-filter for the final boil. The maple sugaring spiraling out of control. Now we need food grade buckets to collect and store. I got one from a local restaurant. That was not enough, so I had to buy some. Belle, we're gonna need a sugar house. Okay, it's warm. The temperatures have warmed, so it's getting overwhelming. 2 pots in here. Multiple buckets filling up. Cutting down dead pine trees for free wood. We have a pine log table now. And we're cooking out here too. We're gonna need a sugar house.
Today's tally is 14 gallons.
14 gallons today. It was pretty warm all day
It
today.
would have been 15 if I did it a little later. It's much now. We're in big trouble when it really, when it's actual sugar season. And they're not even sugar maples.
No, and we're not maple syrup producers. Okay. It's out of control. The Homer sled is the gift that keeps on giving. Now it is a firewood rack.
Portable firewood rack.
Here we all redneck sitting out on the patio with the log splitter.
It's never been this ugly out here.
Wish you would be sitting there.
I was right there. Everything is just as ugly as we can get it.
All aesthetics out the window when you're boiled in sap. We're calling this the ragtag maple syrup operation, and also calling this the Maple Syrup Chronicles, February 10th. 2 pots going on the stove. We're using the digital thermometer to keep an eye on the temperature when it gets low. So that's what's happening inside. The door is open because we're having a very warm day, which is nice. We had to buy buckets because there's so much sap now. So we have buckets stacked up, ready to be filled. 2 are full. And it's Saturday and it's warm. We're boiling over the solo stove in the kettle. Need to add more wood to get this going. So we're boiling here. We've been cutting down dead trees in the back. This is what we're using to cook the syrup. We're having melt, so we've got, it looks like redneck hillbilly backyard here. It's okay. I put these greens down so we don't slip on this thick ice. We are cooking sap over here as well. It's Saturday, so we're just kind of hanging out. The plate is on top to keep the ash out of the sap. Let's look at that. So this is why people build sugar houses, sugar shacks. We are not doing that. Okay, not much is happening inside there yet. I did this last week without a cover, and all that ash went into the sap and it created a charcoal color finished product. Tasted okay and smoky, but the color was weird. That I put in a clip. Yeah, so we had a lot of melt, and this is now ice. It looks like this is a serious operation. Good thing we have free trees. Where's Mr. Coffee going? Oh, his saw's working? Good. All right. Yes, I was out here. I put wood on. I put some greens on. Oh, I was going to bring out a gallon of sap. Okay, we're going to get another quarter of a cup after all this today. Good thing for the free wood, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, this would be a serious losing proposition. I'm inside doing some chores inside. Mr. Coffee is out there stacking up the trees that they cut. I believe it's oak. And we got the log splitter there. We can make smaller pieces. So if you were having to pay for all that wood or propane, you can see how the cost of your maple syrup would be increasing dramatically. Another 3 buckets full today. We are up to our eyeballs in sap. It's Saturday, February 10th, and we have a wall of firewood now for our ragtag maple syrup production. I just poured a refreshing little wine cooler thing with a summery flavor. Belle loves logs.
Loves chewing logs. That's a bad one.
Oh my gosh, look at her. Oh, she's...
Bark fell off of it. Oh, that's the clean piece.
It's got a good boil going in there. This looks like this is going to be another of the smoky charcoal flavor. Or the smarky. This is going to be the smoky maple syrup. Down to the final boil on the inside pots. The jar in the back is what we collected or reduced outside today. These are the inside pots. I've got the double filter set up, and we're waiting for it to reach temperature before we can pour it off. Okay, we reached the 219, and I had this filter inside there. We're using the ball canning funnel to hold the fabric filter, and it's just going to drip slowly into the jar. And the ragtag maple syrup production continues with more wood, splitting it up. Sunday, February 11th. Super Bowl Sunday. This is the result from yesterday's finishing. We did some outside, we finished off inside, and I think we ended up, this is just over 4 cups, 4.5 cups. So we're pretty excited about that, and we're continuing today. Cranking through the firewood.
So today was nice and sunny. This was basically soaking wet when we split it, which was fairly early, and that it burns like crazy already. That's pine.
That's pine. Okay, pine there.
This is pine. That's hardwood.
Okay, and what's this? Mix?
That's a mix, mostly dead oak trees.
Okay. the new development over here, watching where I'm walking, it's all ice now. So essentially you made a lid, you made a stovetop.
Yeah.
So the flame is going right where the roasting pan is.
For 2 or 3 reasons. Number 1 was all the ash.
Yes,
so
the
that's
ash.
kind of controllable.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 was when you got close to this to check. I mean, it
It was just too hot.
Too hot. Couldn't get close to it. So
Okay.
this way you can actually lean over it. And there might have been a third thing, but
We have a flood now. We're walking on the Christmas tree branches.
oh, the third thing was to concentrate the heat around instead of letting it all just go out.
Yeah, so it's essentially like a platform, so to speak. And that's all for a quarter cup of syrup in the end. It makes so much sense. A few more things regarding the maple syrup sugaring operation here, the ragtag operation. We needed some better pans, and that would be to use out there the Fireplace. We have a Fireplace. So I bought 3 of these. These were $15 each, so that's $45. I did buy the filters. A suggestion of a friend said to get these. This filters from the bucket on the tree to the carrying bucket. These are washable filters. This is called a pre-filter. When you go from 216 degrees to your final boil, you run it through this. And then when you do your final boil, you use this heavy duty felt and you put this filter inside and you drain it through this way. And these are washable. These aren't as heavy duty, so they won't last as long for washes. But you can see in here that this has collected quite a bit of collected debris based on the color. And I'm washing this just with hot water. That's what they recommend. And then I hang it by the wood stove to dry. So good recommendation for that. That has helped filter the syrup. And then for bottling, we use these bourbon bottles. And we kind of save them because they're just kind of neat anyway. I like the toppers. So I boiled these. I boiled the syrup to 180 degrees as instructed. You pour it into the bottle, you tilt the bottle after it is filled to sanitize. And I'm storing in a cold, dark place until they're either given away or consumed. Weather turned cold. Now we're starting with ice chunks from the buckets. We'll see how that works. The learning continues. We keep evolving. Now we're going to try these pans on the stove. See if that makes things faster. So we're down to 1 pan now. I will strain out that foam and we'll see where this goes today. This is what we're left after the 2 pans down to this. It won't be much. When I boil this down, it will probably be not even a quarter of a cup. But we're going to do it anyway. From the big pan to the small saucepan, we'll cook it down and see if we get a quarter of a cup. Here's the final result. We got a half a cup. That was from the 2 trays that I started on the stove today. And it just simmered down all day in the final boil right here on the kitchen gas range. And we got a half a cup. It's better than 0. Ragtag maple syrup, round 1 is complete. Because all we have now is a little bit of frozen sap and not much happening because it is cold. Cold, cold. Round 2 will be soon.